as soon as I had the time, I was gonna go in on this super Sambozo right here. What we gonna do this time? We gonna do a play-by-play of this asinine foolishness coming out this man's mouth. We gonna break this thing down. Now, a lot of you probably, for those of you who catch my brother Tariq Nasheed's broadcast, remember him touching on this, but there's a lot more that needs to be fleshed out in this 2 minute and 19-second clip. And we're gonna get on that today. So I'm gonna let this Sambozo start speaking, and then I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna break down segment by segment everything that he was saying and why he was saying it. Let me let him get started.
Crime is real, and most of them are dying from black crime. White people aren't doing anything to them. White people voted Barack Obama in for 8 years. 8 years. Everything that the blacks could be crying about should have did it on his watch, and they didn't. I'm black.
Okay, let's start right there and deal with a couple things. First, the black on black crime thing. There's crime in every community. Okay? One of the things why it appears that black people commit so much crime is, y'all can look this up. I've said it before many times. If they decide to prosecute white people at all for the same crimes or worse, they don't lock them up at the same rate they do us. You see how hard it is for us just to get these corrupt race soldiers charged when they outright murder black people. It takes an astronomical effort to do that, okay? An astronomical effort. We seen that. Now, he went on and said about Barack Obama being elected by white people for 8 years. Let me go in on that, Sambozo, because everybody knows that the thing with Barack Obama's presidency, he didn't do a damn thing specifically for foundational black Americans or black people, period. Period. He put every other group ahead of us. And there was a reason he was chosen. See, when you see these politicians, let's break it down. When you see these politicians that are in office, look at the Congressional Black Caucus, look at most of your politicians that are black, even dark-skinned, foundational black Americans. If they are selected for that position and they do get support, it's because of one common denominator and a few others. The main one is they do not identify with the average black person, especially in foundational black Americans. They've either got a white spouse, and this is for black men and black women, whether you foundational black American or not in those positions. They usually got a white spouse. It's either a white man or a white woman. Okay. Then they're usually either biracial, which is what Barack Obama was. And the main thing, black immigrant. Oh, I got to call it how it is. I'm not saying for all of you, but I'm talking about the people that are in power, why they have such an indifference towards us. But I'm going to let this super Sambozo keep talking, and we're going to get to more breaking down his nonsense here.
52, I'm not oppressed. Ain't nobody oppressing me. America is more free than it's ever been. That's right. And every black person know that. Amen. So they keep listening to somebody make you think they going through this. Some little young 19-year-old black person, they've been through this. They ain't been through nothing. They're creating it. They're creating a problem that does not exist.
Okay, let's deal with what he just said here. He's saying that he's not oppressed. Family, right now, if I make a fist and I punch you in your face as hard as I can and knock blood out your mouth, if you get up after I do that, or anybody does that to you, and instead of fighting back, you say, I didn't just get hit in the face. That's not what happened. You tell yourself whatever you want. But physically, you feel it and you see the effects of what happened to you, no matter what you tell yourself. That's the condition of black people in America, whether you foundational black American or not, under a system of white supremacy that overall oppresses all of us the same. It doesn't matter what your status is. You can have $1 billion. You can have $1 in your pocket. It doesn't matter what job position you have. Celebrity, regular person, straight, gay. It does not matter. The system oppresses all of us the same. You have some individuals that do well, but in a system of white supremacy, anytime you have an incident where it's you versus the dominant society, we all know who they're going to side with. That's across the board, whether it's you dealing with finances, as far as us not getting the same rates on loan, whether you have the exact same credit score as a white person, they're going to get preferential treatment over you. You see what it is when it comes to politics with benign neglect. Every other group in this country can get something specifically for them, but you remember you have the Kamala Harris. I'm not going to do anything specific to black people. No. Oh, really? Look at all these economic policies they've been passing here lately. Hispanics have economic policies specifically for them. We see what's going on in Oklahoma with the Native Americans right now. They're getting economics specifically for them. Asians, economic packages specifically for them. LGBT, specifically economic packages for them. And the insult to injury, you even have illegal immigrants getting things that foundational black Americans are not getting. All off the sweat, suffering, and the backs of our people. Now you let that sink in for a minute. And this idiot up here talking about he's not oppressed. See, I wonder what he is. I have to ask the question because I'm looking at all the other black people standing around while he's saying this and not challenging that. I need to know where you from, because most of us, even our coons over here, they don't go this far with it in public. Now they'll get on these TV stations. You can see some of them have YouTube channels and they'll say that, but most of them, I'm gonna say it like this. I've seen Jesse Lee Peterson do some hardcore cooning. I've seen him go in, but I hadn't seen her take it this far yet. Now, I'm pretty sure he probably has some stuff where he has gone there with it, but I hadn't seen it to this level yet. And as far as he's saying they, see, I've told you all about black people that say they, them, you niggas, and all that kind of stuff. They try to separate themselves from us because in their mind, they think there's something else, especially if they have a white spouse. Oh, they think they different from me and you, boy. They made it to the promised land then, boy. Until they're the next Botham Jean, or a Tatiana Jefferson, or Breonna Taylor, or George Floyd. Endless names. They don't understand you could be next. See, white people like you when you talk like this because you're nothing but a damn pet to them. A problem that doesn't exist. You can play that cognitive dissonance game all you want, but the facts are the facts. We see what's going on here in this country, and you can choose to ignore it, and you can think that saying what white people want to hear is going to keep you safe, but at the end of the day, all them people out here that's, amen, oh, I love you, and all that, when the shit hit the fan, they're going to side with their people, even over you. But I'm going to let them keep talking. We're going to get deeper into this.
They're talking about, is there racism? Of course. But overall, you understand how far we've come? Yeah, do you understand how far we've come? We have now in America, white mothers and fathers are allowing their daughters to marry black folks.
Now let's deal with this section of what he just said. This fool talking about, do you understand how far we've come? Family, I need you all to do some research. There are studies showing that black people were better off under Jim Crow times than we are today. We had our own businesses, and every time we built our businesses up, for those of you that know your history beyond Black Wall Street in Tulsa, look up Slocum, Texas, several other places, Wilmington, Delaware. It's just several other, over 200 black towns. Over 200 black towns. Let me put it that way because the list is too long to name. Over 200 black towns We had, and each time we built up our own stuff, the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you know what happened to those communities? White supremacists came in and destroyed those towns, usually based on some lie, and that lie was usually attached to a white woman. It's all the same. You look up the history, it's there. And this fool talking about, look how far we come. Really? The illusion of freedom is what keeps Negroes like this thinking we've come so far, because as soon as you get you some interracial sexual access, you think that's all you need in life. But see, this is the similarity between this type of coon and LGBT people that are in the black community. Some of them. They think if they get that interracial sexual access, that's all they need. Their lives mean nothing to them. Their own lives, like the Christian Cooper situation, he wasn't even thinking about, okay, look, this is bigger than just me. I need to set a precedence and cooperate and get this white supremacist punished because she's going to do this to another black person. And this dumbass is talking about how far we come. Goofy son of a bitch. See, I can't stand Negroes like this. That's why I have no love for a coon, a bed bug, or a bed wench. And let's define those terms. A bed bug, that's a motherfucker like him. As soon as you marry a white woman, you start cooning and trying to pretend as if things don't exist that clearly do, as far as oppression and white supremacy and racism towards black people. And his opposite would be a Candace Owens type, a bed wench who gets with a white man and starts doing the things she doing. So it's not just somebody married to a white person. Let's make that clear, because you can be interracially married and not be a damn coon. Now, if you want to go further to the debate about being black first or pro-black, that's a different conversation, because if you can't find love amongst your own people, that's a whole nother conversation. It's a very valid one to have. But I'm going to let this Super Sambo keep on talking here.
Y'all know this stuff that don't exist like it used to. Years ago, a white girl could have never. I'm married to a Caucasian woman, the most beautiful woman in the world. So all this talk about racism and all this, don't listen to it. It's a lie. They don't know who they're mad at. Remember, this started with.
Okay, now let me get on this part what he was saying. First of all, I want y'all to pay attention to something you probably hadn't in this clip. When he's saying what he's saying, look at his eyes and his facial features. He's looking at that crowd like, is this what you want to hear? Is this what it's going to take to get me acceptance among you? That's what he's looking at. Y'all probably didn't catch that. See, I study this type of shit when I see it, so I can read exactly what type of coon I'm dealing with. Look at his face again. And see this shit that he was talking about white people allowing their folks to marry us. Let me tell you something, family. In the grand scheme of things, as far as white supremacy is concerned, they'll sacrifice a few of their throwaways to you as far as letting you have sexual access to them. You think I'm wrong about that? Let me go ahead and give you an example. And I'm going to touch on this later on too, because he's going to say something else that I'm really going to drive a point home with. When you see these athletes, which is why I shiver when I see these young black talented athletes coming from these universities going into these professional sports league, and they come from single parent households, they stand a good chance if there's a two-parent household and they got two black parents. Hopefully they're to have raised them and taught them right about certain things. But when it's just coming from a single parent household, usually with that mother, man, let me tell you something. They are the most vulnerable, because you don't think they sit there and be like, okay, we gonna sign this Negro to a multi-million-dollar deal, but let's see if we can get some of this money up out you and get it to come back into our community. You don't think they seeing white women? They send scores of white women at them young boys, man. And see, them, most of the time, coming from impoverished backgrounds, where if they went in college, they would have never gotten that type of opportunity to get that type of money. Now you have access. See, when your economic status increases, you have more access to things. And that includes women. If you're a man, Vice versa, if you're a woman, it's slightly the same, but there's some subtle differences. But I'm speaking about young black men now, because we're dealing with this bed buck that's sitting there talking. They send them white women at you. You've gone to these predominantly white institutions most of the time, and the further that you get down the road towards getting into a professional sports league, you find yourself drifting further and further away from the elements of the community that are your people. To the point where you start talking like this son of a bitch right here. See, you ever notice some of those athletes and entertainers that talk similar to this guy? You niggas, they, them, the blacks, the pro-blacks, and all that kind of shit, as if they're not for. First of all, if you're going to say you pro-black, that's what you should automatically be, pro your people, for your own race. Every other race is, they just don't say it. But when you start using all that type of language like that, like you see yourself as something else, I'm going to tell you, you are in a dangerous position as a black man in this country, as a black person, period. When you start thinking that, because no matter what you tell yourself, these other groups do not see you as one of them. They don't give a damn about you being married to one of them. That's a strategic move to get your assets back into their community. You think I'm lying? Shit, look at what happened when these white women get tired of them dudes and they divorce now. They get half, and in some cases, more than that. You go in, marry one of them, get them knocked up, whatever happens, she files no-fault divorce. Because most marriages, the women file for divorce first, file no-fault divorce, take half your shit. Then if you had kids with her, oh man, that child support finna tear your ass up. And then on top of that, alimony, because you got to keep them living that lifestyle now. See, a lot of these Negroes, when they go and jump and get these Beckies, they don't think that far down the line. Now, I'm not saying it's not some sisters that do that, but I'm going to make this statement. If you get with a sister and shit go left, and you treated her pretty good, they don't usually be trying to run you through the ringer like that. You can usually work things out with a sister that you treated well. That's the key thing now. If you were just shitting on that sister, yeah, she gonna drag your ass. But now if you treated her well, you can usually talk things out. Y'all can work something out, and it's not gonna be so bad. But see, I'm gonna let this jackass keep talking, because he's gonna say something else that I really want to get on. Let him keep talking.
They don't know who they're mad at. Remember, this started with George Floyd. It went from George Floyd to now it became the white people. Then it went from the white people. Now it's the whole system of America. They don't know what they're mad at. They don't know what they're bothered by. All we're saying, you guys, don't get caught up in the hype. It's all wrong. I am the happiest man. I'm one of the happiest men in the world. I'm one of the happiest, blessed men in the world. If you can see my life, I thank God. But that's what I...
Now, let me go ahead and say something here, too. When you see a Negro like this, you better understand that if something happens and your life is on the line, you are in serious danger. This motherfucker right here, Tariq, was saying this, and I've seen this. He's not wrong about this. These Negroes will kill you for white people. You think about a motherfucker like this on a jury, and it's a situation where you've been accused of something that you didn't do. These are your Clarence Thomases right here. These are your Sheriff David Clarks. These are your Larry Elders. These motherfuckers are dangerous, man. See, y'all better understand what y'all looking at when you see a motherfucker like this. We just clown their ass and play past them, but we got to get these motherfuckers up out the mix. We are moving into a time in this country where it's about our empowerment. We're trying to get our economic tangibles that we are due like these other groups are doing. And these motherfuckers right here are going to be the main pieces on the chessboard that these white supremacists try to use against us. Because, see, the greatest threat from a military standpoint, as far as strategy, it's not that enemy that you can see, that you know is an enemy. It's the enemy among you that looks like you that you have to worry about. You look at every other movement that we had in this country, whether it was with our brother Malcolm, our brother Martin, any organization, the Black Panthers, anyone you want to name, the quickest way they brought things to the end for those people, they had to have help from the inside. And that was motherfuckers like this that should have never walked off them damn plantations when they set our people free. See, this son of a bitch is descended from that line. That's a cancer in black society. We got to get rid of these damn coons, man. They got to go. Foundational Black American or non-foundational Black American, they have to go. I'm going to let them keep talking.
I'm not oppressed. The only people that's oppressed in this world is people that embrace being oppressed. If you want to complain about something, there's a million things to complain about, but why not be grateful at what you have? And this is what I say. If they're so bothered, why don't they leave and go to Africa and to another country?
Now, I let him go ahead and ride that out. This whole be grateful for what you have. I want y'all to pay attention to that statement he just made. That's what you hear a lot of white supremacists saying when they see a black person that does work hard and make something of themselves and lives a pretty decent life. Well, you should be grateful. You're not being oppressed. You don't have to face racism. Bullshit. Look at what they did to Bill Cosby. Got that man in prison over a bunch of hearsay. Shit they can't prove. Look at the incident that happened with Dr. Dre. Multi-millionaire, billionaire, they say. Look what happened with him and his incident at his home. You look at all these incidents where these people see it. Y'all need to really think about this. All these incidents that certain black celebrities have had happen to them, that proves your money don't save you. Your blackness is your uniform. You cannot take that off. There's no escaping that in this country in a system of white supremacy. Just be grateful for what you have. See, they think that if you work hard for something, that you just supposed to be like that little slave on the plantation that got that damn butter biscuit, because that's where that term comes from, that allow you here to reusing. Look up your history. They would use that as a reward on plantations to give to other slaves, and instead of that slave eating it, he would run down to the plantation fields and show other slaves, look what master gave me. They think you're supposed to be like that when they say grateful. See, that's why you see a lot of these punk ass athletes sitting up here when they see shit happening, not just athletes, but entertainers too. A lot of them, since they get their bread buttered by white corporations and white people sign their checks, they tell them, Negro, you better not say nothing like that. And if you do, you know what's going to happen. Be grateful. Motherfucker, let me tell you something right now. To him and any white person always talking about be grateful, I'll be grateful when you cut that check for my people's reparations, foundational Black Americans reparations, for all the things that this country was built off of my people. We'll talk grateful when you do that. We'll talk grateful when you prosecute these damn race soldiers for killing innocent black people. We'll talk grateful when you do that. We'll talk grateful when you see injustices being committed and you in the dominant society and you don't just stand there using lip service, but you talk punishment just like you do when something is done to your people. We'll talk grateful then. You can kiss my ass with grateful. Black people in this country ain't got a damn thing to be grateful for. Statements like make America great again. For who, motherfucker? It ain't never been great for black folks. You have black people that have fought in every war in this country. Some were even hung in their uniforms on military bases. See, that's another thing that I really need to flesh out. It doesn't apply to every black person that has served in the military or in law enforcement positions, but one main thing that gets a lot of black people confused is when you go through the training, when you're in the military or in law enforcement programs, so you can get your certification to be a law enforcement officer. That training, because you training alongside other people and a lot of them are white, a lot of people come out of that confused and think you have some actual camaraderie or brotherhood with these people, because that's all in the motto, whether it's the military or law enforcement. Believe me, I know. They preach that brotherhood and camaraderie, but when you get back into the real world, you see it's not the same. It never has been that type of unity between us. But see, what a lot of black people will do, because they're afraid to call that out, they'll go along to get along. See, that go along to get along shit is over. We not doing that no more. Young black people are not doing it. People in my generation, Generation X, are not doing that shit. Black people are on code. And there's going to have to be a house cleaning from motherfuckers like this. So that's my time on it, family. I hope you all digest this, because it had to be broken down beyond just pointing out who he was and what he was doing. Keep your eyes out for motherfuckers like this. They are dangerous. With that being said, I will see you all in future content. Black first, stay safe.